Alright guys, like all my new movie reviews, I'm gonna keep it short, sweet, simple, and to the motherfucking point. Alright guys, before I start this review, I just want to say that this film was really down the middle for me. It was kind of one of those films that I actually had a little bit of a hard time reviewing, believe it or not. I had a hard time actually kind of finding what was the right rating to give this movie and what was the proper way to kind of express to you the way that I feel about this film. So here's hoping that I fucking do that, alright? Alright guys, Aquaman stars Jason, I'm Too Hot For You, Mamoa, and Amber, goddamn, look at this fucking goddess, Heard. And it also stars Willem Dafoe. And it also stars Nicole Kidman. And it also stars this guy who oddly looks like Kevin Hart. And it also stars Patrick Wilson, who's actually no stranger to DC films. Fun fact, he actually played Owlman, I want to say it's Owlman 2 in the Watchmen movie. In the Watchmen movie. That was also directed by Zack Snyder. So there's that too. Alright guys, enough about the Watchmans. Let's talk about Aquamans. Alright, Aquaman is... I'm just going to flat out say this. Critics are going to pan this movie just because, for one, it's not a Marvel movie. And for whatever reason, critics are just very all up on Marvel's dick, for lack of a better term.
Tell me, he didn't just say that.
And they just kind of like, you know, they love the Marvel formula. So critics are going to hate this movie. This is going to be one of those movies where audiences like it, but critics hate it. And I can kind of see why. The reason I can see why is because this film, for all intents and purposes, it's not a Marvel movie. I mean, yeah, it's fun. It's one of the more fun. It's one of the more fun DC films. But it still has its edge and angstiness that DC's known for. If you like that, you like that, and if you don't, you're not gonna like that here. I'm sorry. But the way that it handles it is very, it's very over the top and very cool and very stylistic, and that's thanks to the director James Wan, who's, I know Fast and Furious isn't one of people's best reviewed series of films, but regardless, those films have a flair to them, and they're pretty to see, and they're you know, they're fun to watch. Whatever, you know, regardless of what you feel about them. And James Wan brings that to the table here, and it really shows in Aquaman. And this film, it needed that. This film needed to be Jason Momoa's wacky, fantastic underwater adventure, and that's what it is. I mean, and that's what we kind of wanted to see, right? I mean, more or less, don't really care about the, you know, this is how he got this, and this is how he does this. We kind of just want to see him fucking do it already. And they kind of do this, and they kind of do that in this movie, all while explaining who Aquaman is and what he does for people who aren't really familiar with the Aquaman character. However, one thing that this film really lacks in is the dialogue department. There are times when characters will drop really fucking corny ass lines, and it's just it's very soap opera-y. But yep, that's my new word, soap opera-y. It's when something's like a soap opera. But that's kind of, I don't want to use the excuse that it's a comic book film, but this movie is the most comic book of all the comic book films, and that's something you either are, again, gonna love or something you're gonna hate. Me personally, I really enjoyed it. This is one of the most comic accurate films that I think I've ever fucking seen. Mira looks like Mira. Aquaman looks like fucking Aquaman. I know people are used to Aquaman being a white dude with blonde hair, but Jason Mamoa looks like this Aquaman. And also Ocean Master. Oh my god, Ocean Master looks fucking amazing. They do this thing with his mask where he's able to emote and his eyebrows kind of move in so he looks more villainous and shit, and that is so fucking cool. Speaking of villains, another one of Aquaman's villains come out in this film, Black Manta, and he is really cool in this film. He's really cool in this film, but this Aquaman doesn't use Black Manta to his potential. He's kind of there and then he's gone, which really kind of breaks my heart because Black Manta is one of my favorite DC villains. But there's hope because we both know, me and you, the one person that's watching this review right now, that he's gonna come back because he's too big of a villain for DC to just waste just like that. So that was one thing that was really disappointing. They really kind of just like wasted Black Manta. Another thing that I kind of found disappointing was there's certain things that happen in the movie that they don't explain. Like, for example, there's two characters that work together and they never even show us how they meet or how they come to agreement to work together. And it's just kind of, you have to be like, oh, they're the bad guys in the movie, that's why they work together. Which is kind of like, you gotta do a little bit more for me movie than that. But yeah, this movie, it is stylistic. That's a word, right? I'm coming up with all sorts of words, guys. I'm in my word comeuppance renaissance, or whatever the fuck you want to call it. Yeah, this movie is very stylish, and it's very, for lack of a better term, it's fucking cool. It's a fucking cool movie to watch. If somebody tells you that Aquaman isn't an entertaining, fun movie, you should slap them across the face because they are probably fucking blind and they're fucking stupid, because this is probably one of the more fun movies that I've seen this year. I mean, I know some people aren't going to agree with me, but this movie has
sharks with frickin' laser beams attached to their heads.
Yeah, that's right. This movie has sharks with frickin' laser beams, dude. It also has fucking subterranean crab people that live in the water, and it also has fucking fishmen that shoot laser beam guns, and it also has Jason Mamoa riding on a ginormous seahorse, and it also has just so many fucking cool things. So many fucking cool things. This movie does so many cool things, but it also does a lot of cringy things. The dialogue is really like, ugh. And the Amber Heard and Jason Momoa relationship is really fucking forced. I hate when movies do that, and this movie is a fucking prime person of doing that. This movie does that. I don't like that. Don't do that.
I know.
Don't do that. However, Jason Momoa as Aquaman, he fucking really pulls this movie in, and he is this movie. This is Jason Momoa's, like I said, this is Jason Momoa's wacky underwater adventure, and he is having the time of his fucking life being Aquaman, and that is just really cool to see on screen. However, other characters in the film, like for example, again, Amber Heard, who's probably one of the most attractive and beautiful women that I've ever seen in my life, is not as charismatic as Momoa and doesn't have the same screen presence as Momoa. So whenever they are both on screen together, which they spend a lot of time on screen together, and she gets very outshined by Jason Momoa, and it's kind of just like, yeah, there's Aquaman and there's the Little Mermaid. But yeah, other than that, I mean, the film, it does have plot holes. It does have really corny dialogue. However, it's very comic accurate. It's very action-packed. It's really fun to watch. And just alone, Jason Momoa being Aquaman alone is worth you going to see this film. Jason Momoa, I cannot stress enough, and I cannot say this enough, is amazing as Aquaman. I don't think I could think of anybody else that could play Aquaman better than him. And he's just really fun to watch on screen. So what do I give this movie? I'm going to give this movie a 7 out of 10. Solely for the fact that it did do things that I really liked a lot, but it did do things that I didn't like, which was the corny dialogue, not explaining key elements of the story, and kind of being a little bit predictable at times, and having that forced Mira and Aquaman relationship. I know that they're supposed to be together, but there's ways to make that seem organic, and for that to happen like normally. That was so rushed and just like, ugh. And a lot of the times the humor was really like, it fell flat, and it was kind of just like, ugh. So 7 out of 10, guys. I'm Ryan.T, guys, and if you've seen Aquaman, make sure you comment below and let me know what you thought about Aquaman, and also let me know what you thought about this video. I'll see you in the next one.